Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
There are so much matters arising after the election 2024 based on the incompetency behavior of the EC chairperson, which AB Fuseini has also added his voice by warning her not to jeopardize with the peace and stability of Ghana, and also call for her removal based on reasons he has given. Without much ado, I would like you to join me listening to what he said and also urge you to give your suggestion based on what he said. If you are a new member, please, this station still remain PENDREAM TV. Do subscribe to the channel, turn the notification to all posts so that you'll be notified daily of any gist that will be loaded onto the channel. Thank you.
With the preparatory team that has been announced for the Operation Recover All Loot, there was a social media poll that was done to assess some of the most popular policy of all the policies, the popular policies that have been proposed by the incoming John Mahama administration, and Aura was number 1, Operation Recover All Loot. This week, a team was announced that is supposed to gather information from the public. If you have any information on something, you share it with the team. That's the preparatory team. So we'll be talking about that and Operation Recover All Loot in general in our third discussion on the show today. Now, like I said, it's Christmas come early. Joining me in the studio this morning is many faces I haven't seen in a while. Well, of course, Kwesi Prajin I see virtually every Saturday. He's General Secretary of the Socialist Movement of Ghana. And we are also joined by one of the pioneers of the show. He is one of the Alhajis that gave the show Alhaji AB Fuseini is Member of Parliament for Sanyarugu, outgoing Member of Parliament for Sanyarugu. And then we are also joined by Dr. Tony Edu. Dr. Tony Edu, the last position he held was former Ghana Ambassador to the Netherlands. And then we are joined, of course, by Mr. Philip Langdon, who is now a member of the Movement for Change. Good morning to you all. Well, we are way behind time, so we'll start the discussion and start with the litigation over the seats. And I'll start with Alhaji AB Fuseini on this one. Alhaji, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sana. Let me say good morning to your good self for having stood with this program at a very crucial time when it needed somebody to continue the status of this program as the leading talk show in the country. I want to salute our senior comrade, Dr. Tony Edu. When Alhaji was mooted, and I want to take this opportunity to first and foremost pay tribute to our co-founder, Alhaji Bature. For us Muslims, anytime you remember a dear comrade, all you do is to offer a prayer to the Almighty to have mercy on his soul. I pray that may Allah Almighty admit him to Jannat al-Firdaus and forgive him of his trespasses. But Dr. Tonedu was among the first people. When I come to Kwesi, they say when they count hot things, they remove fire first. So Dr. Tonedu was among the first people to patronize this program and to give it the credibility that it deserves, which is very insightful and very far-reaching presentations he made. And giving his stature, his integrity, and his name, I'm sure that he brought a lot of Philip to the program. Alhaji, I cannot comment him enough. And then Kwesi Pride, as I said it, when we were counting hot things, the very first person to lend his stature, his image, his integrity, his credibility, his everything to this program and give it that national profile that the program was picking up was undoubtedly Comrade Kwesi Pride. I recall when he left the News 5 program to come and join the DC, it was great news in the country. And people listening to him for the first time on an Alhaji, then hosted by my good self and Alhaji Bature, was an epoch-making event. and that contributed to catapult Alaji. Then as the voice of the people, you remember after the 2000 election, when the MPP took over power and started foisting a mini dictatorship, many voices were drowned. People could not get a voice to say anything. They could not get the alternative views about society. They could not get even an opportunity to critique the government of the MPP under President Kufuor. So such was the culture of silence at that time that Alaji was crafted by my good self and Alaji Bature and the likes of Mr. Kwesi Pratt came to lend the addition to the program to become nationwide. And everywhere we're making even tips and sending it to other areas. I want to salute Mr. Kwesi Pratt for all those years. He has stayed very committed and loyal to this program. And that this program has survived and continued to be a leading talk show in this country. Great thanks to him for the contribution he has made. The same thing with Comrade. Maybe he doesn't want. When you call them comrades, they say they are patriots. But the patriots have ruined the country. They have rather, instead of protecting the public purse, as evidenced by Nana Akufo-Addo, and they have even stolen not only the proceeds, they have stolen the purse itself. So I don't know whether to salute him as a comrade or a patriot, but whichever he likes, I want to salute him for his long-standing commitment to this program. In those days when MPPs felt the fire and didn't want even their people to come, he as a member of the MPP still came. Said as a national program, showed his courage, a patriot who loved this country, and would come and say things that even in those days no MPP person would dare say. He would speak the truth, look at those in power in the eye and speak it as it is. And so I want to salute him also for this program. And of course, the good people out there who give Alaji the strength to continue. I want to salute all of them. This program, first and foremost, I need to thank Allah Almighty. We Muslims believe that it is Allah Almighty that does things. And so I can say without any of that, without the hand of Almighty Allah, what these people did, I tell you, they would have swarmed the country. Because they had filled their ballot boxes, printed ballot boxes and others like they do. And I've said it long ago, the MPP was not winning elections from 2016. They were filling ballot boxes and bringing it, and there was no vigilance. So today, if you hear them crying that, oh, their people didn't come out to vote, it's false. They didn't get the opportunity to infiltrate the ballot boxes and show up the numbers. So that is Almighty Allah who imbued the good people of this country. And I want to salute. This was a fight not just for NDC people. It was a Ghanaian patriots. Those who love this country. So it was Ghana versus the MPP. Yes, it was the NDC that ultimately was proclaimed the winner. But I want to say that many millions of Ghanaians fought along with us. It was not just NDC people alone. And so I want to salute all the patriots who, for the love of this country, stood up to prevent the rigging of this election by a pliant electoral commission under the aegis of G. Mensa and Bosman and others who were connived with the MPP to steal the vote. But they made it so overwhelming. So now today, as we speak, if you look at the final compilation, they added the 9 constituencies that were outstanding. President Mahama has 57.6%. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia barely has 39%. He couldn't even make 40%. So it was so overwhelming. Yes, let me commend the fact that he threw in the towel when he saw that the victory was overwhelming. And for that matter, conceded. The concession was good because it helped finish the presidential decision. But I am saying that subsequently it was because, of course, it was very clear. If you can't even get 40% of the vote and your opponent is far away with 57 points, the highest perhaps vote in our Fourth Republic, I'm sure President Rawlings also chalked near similar feat of 57%. So this is the single biggest humiliation the MPP has suffered in an election. So I'm sure that clearly it has gone on that way. So I want to salute them. But let me also take the opportunity once again. I've congratulated His Excellency President Mahama, the NDC candidates who won in the various constituencies and others. And it's overwhelming. The NDC has had a near super majority of almost 2 tests. I mean 2 tests. We have even called it 2 tests. But what is happening today is an attempt to claw back the seats of the NDC. And let me take the opportunity to, is it advise or warn Jill Mensah that she should not take the peace stability and safety of this country for granted. Senna, there is clear, incontrovertible evidence that majority of the seats, because they are saying about sometimes you hear 4, you hear 6, you hear 9. So they are saying 9 now. Majority of the seats have their results declared. The seats have been declared, and there's video evidence. I have some of them even here. And I'm sure Pan Africa TV also even has evidence of declaration made by law, by officers who are so equipped with the requisite authority to do that. The returning officers are the officers who are given the power to make declarations at the constituency levels of who has won the parliamentary elections. Now you hear the Electoral Commission come to say that some of these things were done under duress. The same Electoral Commission which says it is not interested in determining who becomes the president or who becomes a parliamentary member of parliament is actively involved in trying to take away seats from the NDC that have been so declared by their own electoral officers. Senna, I know for a fact, and I've said it, that I wish Pan Africa could even play it for people to see, that the law indicates in clear terms that the authority at the constituency level to decide who has won a constituency is the returning officer. And so if a returning officer makes a declaration, the only other way legally that you can reverse that verdict is to go to court. It is only a court of competent jurisdiction that has the power to overturn. And I have dared the Electoral Commission and dared Jean Mensa, she should show us anywhere in the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, 1992 Constitution, where she has power to overturn the verdict of a returning officer. Or under CI 127. She should show us where under in CI 127, where she has the authority to set aside the declaration of an electoral officer. She doesn't have that power. Senna. And so for her to announce that some of her electoral officers declared it under duress, was she there? And funny enough, she has declared the results of the parliamentary presidential election. She is the returning officer. You went through the constituency to the regional coalition and then to the national for her to declare. And today they have done the full of the tally of the including the 9 seats. So if you can declare presidential for the same constituency that you are talking of having been subjected to duress, then why did you declare the presidential there? Because the duress would have also affected the presidential election. Is that not same to reason? The same electoral officers, who returning officers, she's setting aside their verdict. In declaring the results, Senna, they first declared the presidential results. Is that not the case? So if the presidential results are valid, what will invalidate the parliamentary elections? Because if it's duress, if you declare the results and the duress would have also affected the presidential result. Is it not decent to reason? So why would you accept the presidential results and turn around and want to jettison the parliamentary elections and cite some very bizarre reason that there was a duress? And so now we also the videos. The returning officers freely under escort of police and that. And in many of those instances, the MPP parliamentary candidates were present when the results were declared. So where's the element of duress? So in any case, assuming without admitting, if there was any setting, is it up to the Electoral Commission to determine that it was duress? You can only, that issue of duress can be determined in court. So if you have evidence that there was duress and a person declared, your RO declared the results on the basis of duress exerted on him or her, you take that evidence to court. It is not up to you, the Electoral Commission. And so now I have further evidence to back it. You know, somewhere in 2022, as members of parliament, then led by our minority leader, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, we marched from Parliament House to the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission was then situated in their old offices near the psychiatric hospital. So we marched to that place. In fact, they mobilized thousands of police to prevent us. In fact, so even at a point there was a scuffle. So now I still have some this in my right leg. as a result of some wrestling we got into with some policemen to be able to get to the electoral commission. They did everything to prevent us. In the end, we were asked to just let 3 people cross over, our leader and some 2 other members, to send a petition to the electoral commission. So now, in that petition, the electoral commission indicated clearly in an answer to our decision that coalition can be done when results are not yet declared. And so if coalition is demanded or recount is demanded at the polling station, there can be possibility of recount. If you get to the coalition center and coalition is done and you are not satisfied, you can ask for recoalition. But there can never, this is Jean Mensah's own reply, that there can never be recoalition again once results are declared. This is Jean Mensah herself in answer to our petition, that once a declaration has been made by the returning officer, there is no other opportunity for recoalition to be done. So what has changed? And I said that evidence abounds that the returning officers in many, Domi Kwabenya, we all saw it. Tema West, Tema Central, we all saw it. Okaiko Center, we all saw it. All these areas that the electoral commission has listed as areas of dispute, there is no dispute about them at all. Declarations have been made by the officer authorized by the law to make the declarations, and those are the returning officers. The MPP in cahoots with the electoral commission is teaming up to try and whittle down the seats of the NDC in this exercise, and that is why even the electoral commission can go to bizarre levels, Senna, to a point like Fantiakwa, where the returning officer who is close with the authority to make the declaration makes a declaration, and you go and bring somebody you consider a deputy to the returning officer to come and make a counter declaration. It's so bizarre and so funny that the electoral commission can go to. In fact, in the process of even trying to do this recollation, the electoral commission, which said it did not have the requisite pink sheets in a number of areas, suddenly came out with pink sheets where there were alterations written with pen. Can you believe that? When the pink sheet is filled out, you can only have duplicates, triplicates, and all those are there for other representatives of the political parties. The electoral commission itself has pink sheets that are altered with pen. Where is the credibility? So you can see the extent to which this electoral commission is getting complicit in attempt to, as it were, fiddle with the resource. And for me, I think that this is something that the electoral commission, and I have said it a long time ago, after this election, Jean Mensah, Bossman, Asari, Samuel Tete or yes. Samuel Tete, they should have on their own, if they had any scintilla of dignity left in them, should have resigned. First and foremost, on the bungling, incompetent manner in which they handled these elections. Senator, I'm sure you can remember, even from the time ballot papers, serials have leaked, they have to go and bend some, they have to go and even take some other, many areas of bungling incompetence shown by this electoral commission. So after the conclusion, they should have been the first to tender and run away. Go and never come again. They are not fit to superintend over the affairs of the electoral commission in this country again. So they must go. And I will advocate, if they don't go, Ghanaians must take the requisite steps to make sure that these people are asked from the electoral commission. They are not fit to be there. They are not suitable for the dispensation of free, fair, and transparent elections that we want in this country. And I think that every step of the way, we must take the requisite steps to make sure that the right thing is done. And Senator, I want to salute the young men of this country. They have saved our democracy. I cannot fathom how today, if for instance, President, the electoral commission had declared Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia president-elect today. I don't know how this country would have been today. I can't see how Ghana would have functioned as an entity today if Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was declared president-elect. Against the overwhelming unpopularity of the MPP. And I recall the statement made by our colleague Nana Ohininto, the former general secretary of the MPP, that if the MPP can win this election, in spite of these atrocities they have committed against the country, in spite of the mess to which they have plunged this country, in spite of the terrible disaster. And I said that if NADMO had any job to do, that NADMO job should have been the MPP, to find the national disaster to quell the MPP. Because the MPP was a national disaster, which NADMO needed to have worked on. So clearly, there was no way. But the MPP still tried to make sure that they compromise the verdict of the people. It has to take, like I said, the bravery, commitment, dedication of the young people of this country to prevent the ballot boxes from coming out. So, Sana, I think that the same manner in which the good people have fought to prevent this thing from happening, I want to say that the fight is not over, because the Electoral Commission is still trying to deprive and rewrite the verdict of the people in respect of these 9 constituencies. Because coalition had been done. There is abundant evidence. And these are officers of the Electoral Commission. The EC leadership has no authority anywhere, either in the Constitution or in CI 127, to nullify the results declared by their officers. And so, to the extent that they want to do that, it's an illegal act. And the Constitution gives every citizen the right to oppose people who want to perpetrate illegal acts on us. So we must still stand up. The vigilance with which we monitor the election up to the declaration of the results of the presidential election must continue, because the EC is not done with the fraud they want to perpetrate on the good people of this country. And I want to urge that we should continue to stand up and show interest in the parliamentary elections. You mentioned that they have said they are going to do Sawam Edwejiri and others. I have cited on this social media this morning that the director of elections of the NDC has gone to challenge the decision of the EC to do that. And so my understanding with that, if it is properly constituted as a challenge, then it will put the process of trying to recollate those things in jeopardy for the moment, until maybe the court process is exhausted or some other decision comes from the court. So I want to believe, and they are tying in all sorts of, the IGP should provide security, or I even heard at one point they say they are sending it to Burma camp to go and do the collation in Burma camp. The results of democratic elections being collated and determined in a military barracks is a huge shortchange to our democratic process. If they never in the annals of our country's history have we taken elections outside the jurisdiction of the Constitution. Every Senate, it is not for nothing that they say that the results of the election must be determined within that jurisdiction. And so if they cannot determine the results of the election, they have to take it to police barracks, and now we are hearing military barracks to go and determine the outcome of a democratic election. It's a huge shame to this Electoral Commission, for which Jean Mensa and they should bow their heads in shame. And not only that, like I said, they must exit with the little dignity, if anything at all, left in them, and let this country get somebody who is not only God-fearing, truthful, and has integrity to come and take over the Electoral Commission and do a better job. I have said that this woman has a capacity to do anything. So even people are calling her evil and others, it's merited, because nobody who wants to compromise the peace, order, and stability and safety of this country should be tolerated. Our peace, stability, and order is the best attribute that we can get. And so I want to indicate that what is going on must not be accepted. Let me just add 1 or 2 points before I just conclude. The transitional process has started, and I want to tell you, so far it's going very well. At least the basic building blocks for a successful handover. But there are some worrying trends that I see. First and foremost, there is a very disingenuous and dishonest attempt by the MPP to paint a very glossy picture of the economy. When President Akufo-Addo, on the first day of starting the transitional process with President Mahama, indicated that when he was just coming in, the finance minister brought him some figures and indicated that the economy had grown by 7.2%. to paint a very rosy picture that economic growth was on the ascendancy. Senna, this is a blatant falsehood, blatant lie. It is only in Ghana when economic growth goes, even in the developed world, when economic growth goes by even 1-2%, you will feel it in the lives of the people. Senna, the sweetness of the pudding is not the aroma it emits, it's in the eating. An economy that has grown 7.2%, at least will show a modicum of improvement in the lives of the people. That 7.2%, as we speak now, the lives of our people now are worse than it was before. So what is the economic growth? So what the MPP is simply seeking to do is that they want to create the impression that they are handing over a very strong, resilient economy to the NDC. So that in case of anything, they will simply sit down and compare. And so I have urged the transitional team to endeavor to take this matter seriously and unearth the falsehood that the MPP has sought to create, so that the proper decision will anchor. Senna, I've been in and out of the north, upper east, upper west, and even Oti and Vota. A lot of it, Senna, you go, there is perennial light off, blackout, Dumso. Dumso is in the system as we speak. I'm sure Ghanaians who are the best will give eloquent testimony to the fact. There is Dumso going on in many areas. And it is no secret that Senna, many people, in fact, not too long ago, even the PURC told the ECG and others to come up with a timetable. They have refused to do that because they want to just wait when that Dumso thing is handed over to President Mama. Then they say, Ghanaians, we told you that President Mama is coming back with Dumso. You have seen that. And so it is something that we need to put out in very clear language for Ghanaians to know. As we speak, the government owes IPPs over $2.4 billion. Senna, that money has not been paid. They are going to bequeath that debt, and I believe that even that debt is on the conservative side. The government that will come, and I have said it all, my biggest worry for President Mahama is that he is here to uncover the extent of the rot in this country that the MPP is sitting on and have refused to disclose. We are yet to discover that level of rot unprecedented in the annals of our history. They say it is when the frog dies that you see the true left. So it's when they exit after January 7th that we see the extent of the real rot. And that is going to contribute to make economic recovery very difficult for President Mahama. And that will require all Ghanaians having our hands on deck. And so part of the thing is that we must take requisite steps to discover every single loot. That's why I'm happy that we are going to discuss that second aspect, where the operation Recover All Loot, ORA, is central to our ability to reset this country for the right thing to be done. So I know that these steps must be taken. In fact, that father for all attitude that we had exhibited in the past, that gave the MPP the opportunity to go away with murder, with fraud and others, should not be allowed. And Senna, one of the first things Ghanaians will also want President Mahama to do is to investigate the lives that have been lost. Both in 2020, 8 people, and in this one, I hear 5 or 6 people also lost their lives. The most precious thing a human being has is a life. Never should we allow on the ages of an election for people to go and murder people and get away with that murder. So this murder should be part of the urgent steps this government should take to make sure that those who are complicit in those acts of murder, including in Tolong and other areas, in Wutu Sejan and others, all the perpetrators of those heinous crimes will be brought to book so that justice will be done and seen to be done for these people who, in the service of exercising their democratic rights, have to lose their lives. So I think that we should be on board. As for the issue of cries of people who says that establishing the Operation Recover All the Loot, oral and others are involved in a witch hunt, or certain actions government is beginning to take to make sure that the MPP do proper accountability to the people, constitutes a witch hunt. It can be even a wizard hunt. If a witch or a wizard exists, it must be hunted and hunted successfully. And so I think that we must go to every length to ensure that accountability to the good people of this country is exerted. This opaque, insensitive, corrupt, greedy MPP government must not be allowed to get away with the murderous crimes and others that they have done. The accountability must be exerted. If even at any tag they want to wear, we'll wear that jersey, but we'll do the right thing for the good people of this country.
Alaji, thank you. Which leaked into the international media, and it had to be aborted. Nanado has failed his party, and Achim Mafia finito. Stephen sent that from Wa. Alaji.
Yeah. Yeah, Sana. I just need to share a little bit of that, but because there's no time on the listening, because I'll just pick maybe on the last point he ended, because I made some degree of commendation for this in which Comrade Kwesi Pratt referred to, as if I was a GPC co-fund. In part, no, I made some comment. Maybe you must have referred to. I don't know, but I made some commendation and said that contributed to bringing down the tensions. You recall, and I qualified in my presentation. I qualified it by the fact that because of the overwhelming endorsement of President Mahama, to the point that the difference between Dr. Bawumia and President Mahama was currently, as we speak, about 1.7 million votes. So looking at that figure, it will tell you that we should even throw in the towel before. So I made that qualification. It didn't look as if it was an open-ended. Why? There are some people, even in the face of obvious reality, they refuse to accept it. Look, Nana Akufo-Addo, in 2008, he forced us to go back to time. When it was clear that he had been defeated, he refused to throw in the towel and forced us to go to time. And even after time, he was contemplating going to court. You see the stubbornness that some people can even exhibit, even in the face of obvious defeat. So I was just referring to that. I said, oh, we cut short the thing because, look, Senator, I have said it. If the election result had come down to the wire, 50 point something, even 51%, I tell you that they would have forced Dr. Bawumia to hold on to this for the Electoral Commission and the courts to find a way of manipulating the figure so that they can change the result of the election. But it's because, like President Mahama said, we're going into this election with our own punch, the typical Azuma Nation punch, to give them such a hard hit that they will fall down and never get up, so that the referee will count them out. That is the counting out that has happened. But if you are going to be determined on some slight figures, my brother, you can assure that this country would have been on tenterhooks as we speak. So clearly, that is what I said that it contributed to doing that. But by no means to heap any praise on it. It was the reality that sank, and he recognized the reality and threw in the towel. Now, Dr. Teledu said something about that the courts have been packed to the rafters. And it's not I who is saying it now. I'm sure you listen to Ejaku, what is Chemanting Ejaku, calling Nana Akufo-Addo a Caesar.
Okay. No, be Boache Ejaku.
Boache Ejaku, you heard him clearly. That constitutional dictatorship that was foisted on this country. So people should not think that dictatorship is only by the gun. In fact, the dictatorship of the pen is worse than the dictatorship of the gun. And so clearly, today, confidence, even in the judiciary, you are just even telling us this thing about the fact that people have even tried to go to court to stop the discipline. The coalition is going on. What is happening?
In fact, by way of update on that one too, and Sam Adwajiri has been declared for the MPP. Based on the coalition that's happening. So
you see the attempt to take away the seats. That's exactly what we're talking about. And so clearly, if you have this, Kalama said it, the forcing of an unholy alliance between some key state institutions and others to undermine the credibility and the verdict of the people. You see what is coming. So I see this thing. I'm even very reluctant to comment on this thing, petition to remove the Chief Justice. All those other things, it's like, sorry, I don't know whether it is not very appropriate, but it's like releasing the bad air after the real thing has come out. What is the material effect? How say Tusabai and Kashi when I'm finding a chicken. So it's for me, it's something for maybe some other people to have. But we are in a very dangerous decision, and that is why I said that everything that must be done to get rid of this current crop of electoral commission officers, they must go. If they don't go on their own, they must be pushed to go, because they are a danger to our democracy. And as long as our democracy, we seek to make sure that our democracy endures. Senna, we must not allow people who on the altar of their selfish interests, prejudices, and their own personal biases to be at the helm of affairs. What is happening now? Have you ever fathomed that such a thing could happen under Afarajan? Afarajan was electoral commissioner for how many years? Did anybody even look at 2008 when it came to the tenuous one where we had to do a third election in time after a second round, third election again? But look at how Dr. Afarajan handled it. I dare say that if this current crop of people were at the electoral commission, he wouldn't have even gone for a second round. Okay, so clearly for me, it's a national imperative that this hopelessly uninspiring and incompetent leadership at the electoral commission must go. If they don't go, they should be pushed to go. Now, I'm sure that this overwhelming mandate conferred on His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, and I have said, we in the NDC must recognize that this is a onerous responsibility imposed on us by Ghanaians. Never in the annals of our country's history have we gotten that vote. And so when they give you that ringing mandate, they are expecting us to do a number of things which maybe for a long time have not been done. Especially with the government that has been so opaque, like the Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia government, where corruption hit the roof, where arrogance of power reach its zenith, that you can get a president, tell people that you don't even vote for me. So if there's a disaster, I just came here because I'm president. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even come here. Okay? Where a president can look at a chief and tell him to get up and greet him. Or he can just say that if I have not completed your e-block and you have money, go and use your money and complete it. The arrogance with which you talked at people, talked down on people. The unfettered acts of corruption. In fact, at a point in this MPP government, there was a time when almost every day there was a scandal breaking out in government. Where even at a point they started at how many scandals in a week? 3 scandals 1 week. The scandals were ballooned. Not once did the government find even the courage to investigate one person. No wonder, under the aegis of Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia, Ghana's corruption perception index fell to its lowest. President Mahama's lowest rating was his highest rating under this government. So clearly, people are expecting the NDC to demand for one of the earliest things we should be doing is to render accountability, to get people who had accountability to render that accountability to the people. So this mechanism put in place is just to enable the body gather information, make the preparatory work, so that eventually, when President Mahama is sworn in and the mandate fully is now with him, you hit the ground running. You don't go and fold your arms when you have the enormity of such a task waiting for you in government. Because I'm saying that the NDC government has huge tasks to accomplish, especially in the face of the expectation. That's why I said that I feared for President Mahama mostly about even what we have not yet discovered. Because this government is very crafty and they have a certain level of sophistry in hiding the rot under them. So we have not yet even discovered the full extent of the rot. We will discover more rot when this government is finally off the scene. And so you can see the enormity of the task. If you don't begin to prepare when you are still in the transition stage, when the power is handed over to you, you can't find your way.
Okay.
And so we should, yes, I know there are people who are already crying. You know, Senna, we are in a bus and there's flatulence in the air. Nobody has pointed a finger at you and you alone, you get up and say you are not the one. Has somebody asked you something? If you have not stolen, why are you running in the market? You see? So clearly, those who are already lampooning the edge to as well deal with the loot.
Okay.
As Ghanaians, you just listen to them go, but they have the focus.
Okay.
I have said that let us not behave that the MPP and treat any Ghanaian with contempt. If a Ghanaian has concerns, let's listen. But in so far as there is merit in it, if there is merit in it, let's take it on board facilitate and see is in tandem with the policies and programs we are pursuing. But I think that this mechanism put in place by His Excellency President Mahama is a very, very good move. And I want to urge those who have been selected to do that job to endeavor to justify the confidence the President has reposed in them by ensuring that they are very meticulous in their work, they are competent in their work, they exhibit traits of incorruptibility. Because once people with big money, especially looted funds, begin to see that, hey, you are coming to them, they will try every means to find ways to influence you. Okay. Money is a very, 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 very tricky and dangerous tool. If you are not very careful, and power is given to you, and you are going to bring those who hold big monies to account, they will do everything possible to influence you. I like it. My time. Yeah. Thank you. Sana, I want to salute and to pray. Me, I believe in Allah as a Muslim, and I believe that Allah Almighty has a hand in the affairs of men. I want to say that in as much as we have a duty, and I want to qualify it, because in Islam tells us that Allah Almighty does not do anything to change the destiny of men until they also do something about their destiny. So it is not as if in Islam you just fold your arms and say it's God and then it works. No, you say it's God, solicit is a prayer, but also work, do what is appropriate, so that Almighty Allah can confer His blessings on you. Okay. I want to pray that Almighty Allah confers His blessing on President Mahama to succeed. And I know that Ghanaians are looking forward, like he himself said, this will be the last chance for us to succeed in making sure that our confidence returns to our democratic process. So that if that confidence does not return to our democratic process now, we are doomed. Okay, I pray that it happens under President Mahama.
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciates your time on the channel. Please, if you're a new member and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell, turn it to all posts so that you will be notified duly of anything that will be loaded onto the channel. Thank you.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.